Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about two title fights that I think are going to be very, very competitive. First one is Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. We know both of these fighters very, very well. You know, we've seen after Aljamain Sterling beat Henry Cejudo that Sean O'Malley and him were going to fight. That it will be the next one, and it is already set, ready to go and everything at UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling is 15-3 in the UFC, and you know it has not really been an easy road for him. He's 23-3 overall, is 34, which seems kind of crazy to think about that he's older like that. When Sean's only 28, and Sean has an inch reach, 4 inches in height as well, and he's really, really good at using his reach and his distance management. He has gotten in some trouble as he's fought in these tougher, longer guys. He had issues even with Petr Yan getting his back. And that tells me a lot when, you know, you talk about the matchup with Sterling and Sean O'Malley. Sterling is for surely going to get Sean O'Malley's back. There's no question about that. You got to think it's going to happen. Now, poll-wise, 77 out of I don't know, 407 people, 77% of them think Sterling's going to win. Again, I think this fight is close. I think the no contest with Pedro Munoz really sucks because I think on paper that fight is really, really fun. Sucks we really didn't get to see much of a fight. And split decision for Petr Yan, personally, I thought O'Malley needed another one. I thought maybe he needed his rematch against Chito Vera. That didn't come, and they are pushing that match against Sterling. Now, do I think Dana White privilege is letting O'Malley fight Sterling? Because I think Sterling and the UFC aren't really great on terms. They might be fine. They can deal with each other because, you know, they're all adults and everything like that. But Sean O'Malley just is a lot more marketable because he's flashy. He gets knockouts. He gets all of these things that the UFC wants and pushes for. Whether fans agree or disagree, because personally I like Sterling. I like Sean O'Malley's style, yes, but he really hasn't been tested. I think this is a great match for both guys to be tested. There's a lot of openings. Sterling is sloppy unless he's grappling out there in the opening. Funkmaster for surely fits him. He's very funky. He's very unorthodox. Sean O'Malley is very technical. He has big power. He doesn't really load up a whole lot. He's very accurate, and I think that's huge fighting a guy like Sterling, especially a guy like Sterling who likes to back up and likes to do teeps and likes to dive in even if he doesn't get it and hold on to singles, and it's gotten him in some trouble. That's where he was finished by Marlon Moraes, was for that exact thing, diving in, not setting it up, and he was face planted. He was hit with a punch first that hurt him, and he got up and went for a naked takedown and then finished. Yeah, Sean O'Malley is 16-1. Like I said, his one loss is Chito Vera. I thought he should rematch him before he gets a title shot, just to kind of right that wrong, show us where he's at, because that'd be a huge fight on like a main event. And I don't think the Petr Yan fight was 5 rounds. I think that fight should have been 5 rounds. I think it would have prepared him a whole lot more for Sterling, because Sterling is a good 5-round fighter. I just think his style fits a lot, and Sean hasn't fought in 8 months. You know, and by the time they do fight, which is a while away at this point, you know, it's August 19th. It's going to be 9 to almost 10 months he hasn't fought. You know, again, he's a lot younger than him. He's, 6 years younger. Like I said, 4 inches taller, 1 inch reach, trains at MMA Lab. Competition-wise, I don't really think you can compare. 9-fight win streak for Sterling. That's obviously how he's the champion now. He has 2 decision losses, 1 TKO or KO loss, which was Marlon Moraes, like we said. The Henry Cejudo fight was very close. I did think Sterling edged it out with his grappling at the end of the round, so kind of stole the rounds. Beat TJ, but it really wasn't the same TJ. That fight was awesome if TJ was healthy. I thought Petr Yan won his fight against Sterling the second time, and he was destroying him the first time. Corey Sandhagen, he dominated. People keep talking about how Corey needs to fight for the title. That fight is no different than what it was the first time, except maybe it's not in the first round. Pedro Munoz made that a fight. I mean, Sterling made a lot of mistakes, but he still won the decision by his style, his weird style. And again, He hasn't lost since the Marlon Moraes fight, which was 2017. He hasn't lost in a long time. It's 6 years or 5.5 years, whatever it is. And Sean has fought pretty good competition. I don't think he's fought great competition. 4 wins in a row. He's 8-1-1 in the UFC, and that one loss, like we talked about, was Marlon Vera. And then he came back and destroyed Thomas Almeida, who was 21-0 at one point before Cody Garbrandt got to him. And then Chris Montaño, he destroyed. Chris was a zombie. He has been cut from the UFC since, losing to Guido Gennady. That's what it is. Guido Gennady, losing to him. He's actually cut as well. And then coming back and fighting Rulian Paiva, who Paiva fought Kyler Phillips a fight before. And if you haven't watched that fight, I think there was some residual coming from that fight to this one with O'Malley with Paiva. I just think that. Could be wrong, but he took a lot of punishment. And yeah, it was finished pretty quickly in that before end of round 1. And then beat Petr Yan in a very close fight. Again, stylistically, they match up very well. The way that Sterling strikes and the way that Sean O'Malley throws his combinations and his power and his speed and his accuracy. And then how does O'Malley go with, how does he deal with the grappling ability of Sterling? Because, again, Sterling's going to get the back of O'Malley. Not making my prediction right now, but I for surely will have my prediction out when it comes closer. But this is a fight that is very, very interesting. Now, the next one is Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka. And, you know, the reason why... let me get this one. Jamal Hill. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, and then, like I said, Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka. Very, very interesting fight. If you look at this fight, what in the actual world? Let's type in Yuri. It's not wanting to come up. Yuri Prochazka. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Anyways, fighting Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. This fight is not set yet. It's supposed to be set, but yeah, not the Jamal Prochazka fight, not that one. Yeah, Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos was the next fight that we were talking about. Just because Hill and Prochazka is not scheduled yet. It is a fight that they're talking about, but it's not scheduled yet. Either way, same card. Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos. Now, this fight is awesome. You got Zhang Weili, who had a couple slip-ups with losing to Rose and then losing the Rose with the split decision, the next fight. And arguably, she won that second fight. And then she came back and destroyed Joanna and then just manhandled Carla Esparza for all intents and purposes. 34 years old, 5'4", with 63-inch reach. Fighting Lemos, who's 36, also 5'4", but has a 2-inch reach advantage at 6'5". A lot of different experience. Lemos has not fought nearly the competition. I mean, she was destroyed by Jessica Andrade, submitted by her in 2022. Beat Michelle Waterson-Gomez, who, let's face it, Karate Hottie is no longer who she used to be. And then she beat Marina Rodriguez. Do you know what Zhang Weili would do to Angela Hill or Waterson or Rodriguez? I mean, come on. It's unbelievable. Zhang Weili is so good. Now, the one thing that I think makes this fight very intriguing, is early. I do think early, and she also destroyed Jessica Andrade. So competition-wise, opponent-wise, it's not even close. Not one bit. Zhang Weili is the overall better fighter. Now, again, what makes this fight really, really interesting is Lemos is really good early. She has big power. She's very fast, and it seems to take Zhang Weili a little bit of time to get going, to get her movement, to get her balance. And if she makes those mistakes early, she's going to be in some trouble. Now, these are both a little bit older of fighters at 34 and 36. Not terribly old, but a little bit older. You know, we've seen Lemos be submitted before by, like I said, Andrade. We haven't seen Zhang Weili only caught. We haven't seen her be caught except for Rose Namajunas, and that was with a flashy, crazy head kick that came out of nowhere and got her to lose her belt. And then she came back in the rematch and looked unbelievable. And I do think this fight is going to be competitive early. I think as the fight goes on, I think Zhang Weili is going to turn it up a notch, and I think she's going to have a lot of success. Early, I think she's going to have a lot of issues getting Lemos down and controlling her and doing things that she wants to do to her. I do think it's going to be a little bit more of a difficult fight for her early. Later, I think Zhang Weili 3, 4, and 5, she's going to turn it up, and she might even get a finish as I spit all over my desk. But yeah, those are the two fights: Sean O'Malley, Aljamain Sterling, Zhang Weili, and Amanda Lemos. UFC 292, I cannot wait for it. And that's not even saying the rest of the card's bad. You got Song Yadong, you got Rob Font, Jeff Neal, Ian Gary, Cody Garbrandt, Mario Bautista, Jared Marshard fighting Andre Perchowski, Chris Weidman returning fighting Brad Tavares, which is a little bit weird seeing how Brad Tavares was just finished with punches. Gregory Rodriguez versus Dennis Tululian. Moros versus Karine Silva, which is going to be awesome. Andrea Lee versus Natalia Silva. A lot of good fights. And Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes was also supposed to be on this card, but this card is still awesome. Still stacked, still fun. But those are my two title fights, upcoming title fights that are awesome and going to be competitive. Let me know if you guys agree. If you disagree, become a member to the channel. And as always, peace.